There's no question that the Stargate franchise shares some DNA with Star Trek. Fun, adventurous, sometimes dramatic science fiction. That's especially true of the Trek shows that were in production in the 1990s and early 2000s, when Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis were also filming. But did you know that these two beloved sci-fi franchises also share a whole lot of actors? Although Star Trek filmed in California and Stargate in Canada, a surprising number of main cast members crossed over. In this video, we're talking strictly about Star Trek's regular cast members. That's actors whose names appear in Star Trek's opening titles, who guest starred on Stargate. We'll leave recurring guest stars like John de Lancie and Ronny Cox for another video, as well as actors better known for Stargate, who also guest starred on Star Trek at some point in their careers. Hey, that's Tony Amendola. So let's make a game of it. Pause the video here, and let's see how many Star Trek actors who appeared on Stargate you can name. First up, Armin Shimmerman. He played Quark for 7 seasons on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Stargate SG-1 got its very first Star Trek guest star early on in the first season. In The Nox, SG-1 visits a forested planet. There are a lot of those, on the hunt for a flying creature with the power of invisibility. They encounter the evil Apophis himself, also on a hunt with his royal guard. The team plans to ambush and capture the System Lord, which goes horribly wrong. After they're shot dead, the team awakens to meet a race of forest dwellers who have brought them back to life. Armin Shimmerman plays Anteaus, a leader among the Nox. Eventually, they're revealed to be not primitive after all, but one of the oldest and most advanced races in the galaxy. In later episodes, we would learn that the Nox were once allies with the Asgard, the Furlings, and the Ancients themselves. In the very memorable closing minutes of the episode, Anteaus reveals the Nox's great floating city, reassuring SG-1 that they need not fear that the Goa'uld will come after them. The Nox can take care of themselves.
You're not.
Shimmerman's DS9 co-star, the late Rene Auberjonois, was beloved as the brusque Constable Odo. He played a very different role in his Stargate guest appearance. In the 4th season episode The Other Side, Stargate Command receives a plea for help from a people on the losing end of a world war. SG-1 meets Alar, leader of the Eurondans, who is willing to trade all of their advanced technologies in exchange for helping turn the tide of their conflict. The Eurondans don't even need weapons or soldiers, only heavy water to power their generator. The casting here is brilliant. Auberjonois is someone viewers want to like, but despite Alar's sincerity, it's clear that something is not quite right. Jack is ready to make a deal, but Daniel pushes back, insisting that they learn more about the Eurondans' enemy. In the end, they discover that their new ally not only started this war, but are Nazi-like white supremacists bent on wiping out people they call breeders for their lack of so-called genetic purity.
I can teach you everything I know! Just let me come with you! Please!
We fell in love with Marina Sirtis as Counselor Troi on The Next Generation, but in the episode Watergate, she plays a very different character. Dr. Svetlana Markov is a brilliant Russian scientist, the genius behind her country's own secret Stargate program. The Russians scooped up a Stargate after Thor's mothership crashed into the Pacific Ocean, and now they've been conducting an off-world program out of Siberia for several weeks, and things have gone horribly wrong. SG-1 is called in when the Russian Stargate will not shut down. With Dr. Markov, they reach the facility and find all of her friends and colleagues dead. Then she pilots a mini-submarine through the event horizon to make an incredible discovery amidst the submerged gate on the other side. Along with Sam and Daniel, she barely escapes with her life. Sirtis brings a sharp and no-nonsense approach to Markov's character, able to go toe-to-toe with Colonel O'Neill, and with a wisecracking Daniel Jackson for that matter, and showing how deeply she is affected by the grisly fate of her friends.
If you're implying that everything Russian-made is of poor quality, actually, the sub is Swiss.
So they occasionally catch fire, but they keep perfect time.
Sorry. I think I've been hanging around Jack O'Neill too much.
In Season 6, Stargate SG-1 gave us its version of a Lower Decks episode, turning the camera on the ordinary scientists and geeks that keep Stargate Command functioning. The stars of The Other Guys are a great comedic pairing: Canadian national treasure Patrick McKenna of The Red Green Show, and Star Trek Enterprise actor John Billingsley, without his Phlox makeup. Together they are Felger and Coombs, and after SG-1 is captured by the Goa'uld, they sneak aboard the alien vessel to rescue them. Jay Felger is a real fanboy who wants to be part of the team he idolizes, but the pair quickly discover that Colonel O'Neill and his team allowed themselves to be captured on purpose, and the scientists have just stumbled into a very dangerous plan. It's great fun to see another Star Trek veteran on Stargate, out of makeup, and this time as a member of the SGC. Simon Coombs even gives a shout out to Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry, and reveals his love of Vulcan cosplay.
Bite me, Coombs. At least my heroes exist. This was a Trek convention, you'd be all dressed up like a Klingon.
Vulcan, Felger, Vulcan. And I don't know how you can call yourself a scientist and not worship at the altar of Roddenberry.
It's just a shame that when Felger returned the next year in Avenger 2.0, Coombs wasn't with him for another accidental adventure. When it came time for Stargate co-star Christopher Judge to write his own Teal'c episode, it was bound to focus on Jaffa culture and feature a beautiful love interest for his character, of course. Birthright expanded Stargate's lore by introducing the Hawkteal, a tribe of fierce women warriors struggling under the oppression of the Goa'uld Moloch. Teal'c and the team must convince the Hawkteal to stop killing their fellow Jaffa in order to secure symbiotes for their young girls, and try another way. The leader of the Hawkteal is Ishta, and for this important role the show cast another Enterprise icon, Jolene Blalock. Clearly she had the gravitas to pull off this driven leader with deep emotions, in many ways a real change from the Vulcan T'Pol, whose strong emotions were always there, but locked under her Vulcan composure. Put the actress in a long blonde wig and she's definitely harder to recognize.
I will not rest until Moloch is dead.
I will not rest until all Goa'uld are dead.
Ishta proved to be a worthy foil and love interest for Teal'c, and the character returned a year later for the episode's Sacrifices. Once again, we would have loved to see more of her. When the Free Jaffa eventually unite and form a new government in Season 9, the Hawkteal are there. Their representative is Simone Bailey's character, Kal-El. Let's say this right up front. Robert Picardo is a national treasure. That was true even before he played the Doctor on Star Trek Voyager, when he was Dr. Dick Richard on China Beach, and Coach Cutlip on The Wonder Years. It was a real treat for Stargate fans not only to see him cast in a recurring role, but to then watch the character of Richard Woolsey grow and mature and become a series regular. Woolsey had an inauspicious beginning, sent in by the NID to investigate the death of one of Stargate Command's own in the Season 7 episode Heroes. He argued against SG-1 when the new president came into office, just begging the audience to hate him. But Woolsey quickly realized that he was on the wrong side, in league with Ronny Cox's Vice President Kinsey, and helped to take him down.
No matter what you might think of me, I consider myself to be a man of integrity. I took the job with the NID because I strongly believe in civilian oversight of top-secret military operations.
Mr. Woolsey.
I don't have any proof, sir, but I'm starting to question whether those to whom I have dedicated my allegiance are as honorable as I had hoped.
Richard went on to better things, representing the U.S. at the IOA, an international panel overseeing the Stargate program and the Atlantis expedition. Woolsey grew to become someone who had our team's back, evolving from a coward to a leader who was willing to put himself on the line. Eventually, he took charge of Atlantis as the expedition's new leader, and the great Robert Picardo joined the main cast of Stargate Atlantis for its final season. For years, we loved him as Chief Miles O'Brien, who had an amazing arc from the bridge to the transporter room on The Next Generation, then over to Deep Space Nine as the station's chief engineer. We got to know about the dark corners of O'Brien's past, and saw him working his blue-collar engineering job while growing a family. Colm Meaney played an amazing character. When he was cast on Stargate Atlantis, though, fans knew we were in for something very different. Shepard's team visits a seemingly peaceful agrarian people called the Janai, who Taylor's people have long known as friends and trading partners. Their leader is Cowen, who is somewhat gruff and standoffish at first, but after the team discovers their secret underground city, the true nature of Cowen's people is revealed. They're more advanced than they appear, and far more militant.
Once we have extracted all the information we can from you, you will be left on the surface. You'll be the first the Wraith feed upon, I promise you.
Cowen is the cutthroat leader of a militarized society who have been rebuilding their once great civilization in secret to avoid the next Wraith culling. They plan to strike back at the Wraith, and despite the overture of an alliance with Atlantis, the Janai are more interested in taking what they want than trusting anyone. Meanie's headstrong Cowen returned for 2 more episodes, leading to the character's downfall, thanks to the treachery of his ambitious underlings. A late addition to the cast of DS9 was Nicole DeBoer in the role of Ezri Dax. She guest starred in Atlantis' 5th season horror episode Whispers. Shepard's team works alongside the all-woman team of Major Ann Teldy, Captain Alicia Vega, Sergeant Dusty Mehra, and Dr. Alison Porter. The planet they're on is not only spooky because of all the fog, but also because of the terrifying creatures that the Wraith hybrid Michael has created through his twisted experiments. Nicole DeBoer's Dr. Porter is the brains of her team, a whip-smart young scientist looking for adventure out in the big wide galaxy. Once again, the casting is perfect here, as the actress brings her signature charm of schoolgirl innocence and strength in the face of adversity. When the hybrids begin to attack, Porter is in the middle of the fight, hatching a plan to lure the creatures out into the open, and then wielding a P-90 alongside her teammates. DeBoer also has some great scenes with Paul McGillian, who plays Dr. Carson Beckett. Their characters are clearly drawn to each other, and provide Dusty with some funny one-liners while they flirt in front of her. Since Alison survived the episode and was planning to return to Atlantis after some R&R back home, it's a shame we didn't get to see more of her.
Okay, I'm gonna go check the perimeter. Be back in 20. Unless there's a sock on the doorknob.
The final entry in our list of Star Trek Stargate crossovers is an actor who appeared in a whopping 10 episodes of Stargate Atlantis. The script for Season 2's Michael has a great hook. The audience follows along with a young man who awakens in the city, unable to remember who he is. Our main characters reassure Lieutenant Michael Kenmore that he's one of their own, and they're going to do everything they can to help him remember his life. But it's clear to the audience that something suspicious is going on. Maybe even our heroes can't be trusted. Connor Trinneer's casting as a Wraith turned human is genius. Lieutenant Kenmore appears to be a good old down-home boy from Middle America, seemingly innocent to the core, not all that different from Enterprise's Trip Tucker. Or so we're meant to believe. So why does everyone seem to be hiding something? Why is Ronan so openly hostile towards him? Michael wonders, and we in the audience wonder right along with him until that fantastic reveal. Michael is a Wraith, who the team captured and subjected to Dr. Beckett's retrovirus to strip the Wraith DNA out of his genetic makeup. What follows is a slow transformation back into his true nature, followed by 3 years of Michael as a ruthless villain who holds a personal grudge against Atlantis after he escapes. With so many ups and downs for Michael, his revenge schemes, and his own army of Wraith-human hybrids, Trinneer's role is a tour de force.
They are coming.
I know. And I will return to them.
Then we shall be enemies again.
We never stopped being enemies.
So how many Star Trek cast members on Stargate could you name? Did you get all 9? Which of these characters was your favorite, and who did you want to see again? Tell us in the comments right below that like button. And let us know if you want to see a video on all those other crossover actors, as well as actors from shows like Supernatural, Farscape, or Babylon 5. Meanwhile, subscribe to the channel right now if you want to see more Stargate content on YouTube. Here's another video YouTube thinks you'll like that you can watch next.